Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Thursday morning, Faith. It's time for Community Focus. We do this every Thursday at 9 o'clock as we traverse the great state of Georgia. And today, where are we, Faith?
We're in Brookhaven this morning.
Yeah, and some of you out there watching or who will watch this later go, okay, Brookhaven, what is Brookhaven? Let's just say hey to everybody. We're going to be bringing Kathy McDowell from Brookhaven Christian Church. Kathy, we're going to talk with you later on some of the cool ministry-related stuff that you're doing. Welcome to Community Focus. And Jessica Lamb, Jessica, we talk with you all through the year, and especially on our Unholy tours, and we're going to be talking to you about a very sober topic, and that's human trafficking and what's going on really across Georgia and the world. Thank you for being back on Community Focus.
Thank you.
Mary Beth, we're going to talk to you about one of the things that you've helped Brookhaven do and others, so we'll look forward to having you later in the segment. Thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you.
But we want to kick it off with the mayor. Mayor, where is Brookhaven anyway? Can you define that?
Brookhaven, the great city of Brookhaven. We are about 12 square miles. We're right inside 285. Our borders are 285. The Atlanta-Fulton the DeKalb-Fulton line. I back up to Atlanta, and then down basically to 85, going through some neighborhoods. Actually, Brookhaven, most people think, oh, Brookhaven, small little city. We're actually the 15th largest city in the state of Georgia.
Wow.
If you don't include the consolidateds, because, what are they? Are they city, a county? I don't know. We would be actually 12. If we were a county, we would be the 51st largest county in the state in terms of population. So, everyone thinks, obviously, Brookhaven's relatively new. We're about 9 years old. We're in our 9th year. So people don't understand and think, maybe we're a small little city. Again, 55,000 people. We actually have one of the largest Hispanic populations in the entire state. We're the 4th largest city by Hispanic population. We're about 26% Hispanic. So we're actually a very diverse city. Again, not very well known, and most people assume Brookhaven is just one little area with one type of folks. But in fact, we're very, very diverse folks.
So, Mayor, as you leave Lenox Square Mall and head up Peachtree Road, you got that Brookhaven MARTA station. You got Oglethorpe University. You eventually get up there to the old Doraville GM plant. How much of that is in your city?
So right at Club Drive, a mile north of Lenox, is our city line. Like you said, about a half a mile up from that is the MARTA station, Oglethorpe. The old Peachtree Country Club is our line with Chamblee. So once you hit that on the left-hand side, once you hit the tire store. There's a tire store right there, right after the country club on the left. That is the Chamblee Brookhaven line. And you'll see now we have a nice new monument sign that's lit up that shows us the borders right in the middle there.
Wow. And, one of the cool things that you guys did is you had the first Tesla police car. And we featured that at our Clean Energy Roadshow. And it was most recently at the Tesla World Record attempt that I did with Alpharetta and Sandy Springs, where Sean Mathis and the Tesla owners of Atlanta, we put together an attempt, and we actually shut down 400, Mayor. I hope you weren't coming southbound that day, but we shut down 400 from Alpharetta down to Sandy Springs for about 20 minutes so that these 380 Teslas could get on at North Point and head down to the Westin, where we did a fundraiser to fight human trafficking. That was a very cool event.
Yeah, I was not in it myself. I drive an electric car. I have a Nissan Leaf, and I've had it for about 8 years now. Yes, our police car was there, and it was well received. We got a lot of publicity about it, and people were still not aware that we've done it. And like I said, like you had said, we're the first east of the Mississippi police station to have a working electric car on duty. That was my most important thing. I didn't want a show car. I didn't want to just get something, put it up, and give it to to tours that you could different conventions can look at and go, ooh, this car is actually on duty. It's on duty. Every time that officer, we have take-home cars in Brookhaven, so that officer drives it back and forth for his house. And I believe it's been highly successful. It was either us or Fremont, California, that actually put a electric police car in service. And I've spoken with the U.S. Conference of Mayors convention multiple times about it to show folks of how it can be done. There's some pros and cons, like everything. And the Tesla is not necessarily the best to set up for a police car. It's kind of small in the back. But as more car companies come out with electric fleets, we are, the technology is there, the ability is there. The biggest thing, it saves the city money.
Wow.
We spend about $250,000 to $500,000 a year on gas.
Wow.
And so,
Mayor, just in my last minute with you, and I know you're busy, and we've got a number of other guests today.
Yep.
What's ahead for the city as you guys come out of COVID and you kind of get back on the regularly scheduled program of what the city was doing before COVID? What's the next big thing for Brookhaven?
Well, I mean, we have so many big things, and I'll throw something at the very end. But we have our police and municipal court is being built right now. It's a public safety building, and the cool thing about that building is we have electric chargers for our police already planned out, so that when we actually have more and more plug-in vehicles. In fact, Brookhaven is only going to hybrid vehicles only from here on out, and hopefully once, like I said, have the ability to have electric police cars. We've done that. We have that out front, but we also in that building have one of the largest commercial geothermal HVAC systems in the Southeast going into that building. And we super insulated at the cost. Again, it saves us money over the long run.
Well, I want to commend you for a couple things. Number one, I was on the committee that put the Comfort Women statue in your park, and you guys were willing, to set that park space aside and really honor the women, the Korean women who had been trafficked during World War II. So one, I want to just commend you for that. Number two, having this police car, putting geothermal in this building, nobody's doing that. And you personally leading by example with this electric car. So just kudos to you and all you guys that you're doing in Brookhaven.
Well, I thank so much. It's not just me. Obviously, it's my council, John Park, who was the first Korean American or actually Asian city council member in the entire state. It was big on the Comfort Women. It's the staff that helps out to get us, has the goal, can actually accomplish the goals that I wish to accomplish. So we have a great team. I could tell you about a whole lot of other firsts, but I'll save that for another time. But I will tell you, getting out of COVID, Brookhaven, we were the first to shut down. We're also going to be the one that has, there's going to be one hell of a party in Brookhaven when this is all said and done. I'll just leave it at that.
Well, thank you for being on the show today, and let me know how we can help you accomplish your goals. We're very proud of you and what you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Hey, it's good to have Kathy. Kathy, I'm an ordained minister. I started Teen Pact. It's in 50 states, and I have a master's degree in nonprofit organizations from UGA. So I have a special place in my heart, not only for our churches, but also our nonprofit. So I'm excited about some of the things that you guys are doing to help children, to work with the homeless. I mean, you guys are really trying to minister in your community. Tell us about a few of those.
Yeah, one of our not one, but our major focus is really on children and food insecurity and hunger. And you can see behind me here, there is something called a Little Free Pantry. And you may have heard of the Little Free Library kind of movement. And this is kind of building on the same spaces set up outside of buildings in order to stock it with things that people can walk by or drive by and pick up. And the whole idea is you take what you need and you share what you can. So there's this community effort to kind of restock, in addition to whatever the organization is, like our church, which is, we'll plan to restock it as well. So that's one thing we're doing. Another thing we've done is hand out these to homeless people. We've got several members who are handing out, hundreds of these, really. A couple hundred we've handed out already this year. So we were doing that. We also have several really important partners that focus on again, children. One of them is Interfaith Outreach Home down Buford Highway. It's 10 apartment units. It's focused on getting women stable and their families. They always have jobs, but they give them financial help, social work. Social workers work with them, case management, and that kind of thing. We work with a food pantry that's in the Brookhaven area. It's Southern Center for Christian Outreach, and that happens to be in St. Martin of the Fields Episcopal Church, which is right off of Ashford Dunwoody. So we're doing that. We have a child care daycare center in our building, and that's really, I just don't know that we've talked enough about schools, even though we've talked about schools a lot. Those teachers there are working hard. There's 2 Georgia pre-K programs in the building, and they're working hard to keep kids safe and healthy and in school. And so we've been supporting them with lunch every month and some gift cards for the teachers, just to let them know we care. So that's just some of the things we're doing.
Are y'all back, Kathy? Are y'all back meeting in person as a church yet?
We're doing the hybrid model. We actually have been doing an outdoor prayer service every Wednesday night. We have a little prayer courtyard that they've been meeting in. We only have, I'm going to say, a handful of people in the building every week on Sunday mornings, including the worship team. I'm going to say less than 20. But we're moving towards that. There is an effort to try to meet everyone where they're at, whether they've now been vaccinated, whether they are, still at home, whether they're been active. So we're trying to meet people where they're at. Easter Sunday, we will have an indoor worship service, but there's also an outdoor component and a continuing. We have a streaming service every Sunday. So I've been attending streaming worship.
Yeah, Faith. When we have a lot of low-income folks that are struggling with their utility bill, contact us, and I'm sure y'all do too, Kathy. And maybe Faith, we can tell her about the resources so the church can spend their money on food or these homeless packets or other things. But Faith, we've got HEAT, we've got Hope Works, and what are some of the other groups that we provided funding to?
And I'm making note.
We've got the Salvation Army program as well. They help lots and lots of people. And like you mentioned, we've got HEAT that has funding. I know you had your race with the Georgia EMC presidents to raise some money for them. And then, of course, there are the local organizations that assist with low income utilities. And then HopeWorks is just a fantastic program. They provide not only assistance, but they also provide the equipment. They will replace your furnace for low income, specifically seniors. So you do have to be a senior to qualify for that program. But the Kimseys are just wonderful people that run HopeWorks. And they also do weatherization for people who are on electric, who don't have a heat furnace. And so that's another way that prevention with weatherization provides so much savings in the long run for those folks.
Yeah, Faith, maybe you can maybe if we bring Jessica on, you can go ahead and put the HopeWorks logo on the banner down there. Well, Kathy, God bless you. Thank you for all the great things that you're doing and your church is doing, and we just pray for your continued favor with the community and with your budget and everything that you need to be able to minister to everyone. Thank you so much.
We just learned to pivot, so that's what we've done. So
great. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Jessica, good morning. Thank you for what you're doing to help women recover from this horrible blight of human trafficking. How is it going out there with your work?
We're doing really well. So far, we've already received over 75 applications this year alone for tattoo removals and cover-ups from people in our community. And so that's kept us pretty busy, especially during tax season, which is the tattoo shop's most busiest season. For those that do not know that are listening in, Atlanta Redemption Inc. we're a survivor-led nonprofit. I'm a survivor of human trafficking. And when I began Atlanta Redemption Inc. in 2017, we began receiving applications in to help survivors of sex trafficking cover up their tattoos that have been put on them by their traffickers and exploiters. And so we started out with just a few, and then overnight it kind of just exploded into the community. So it became a statewide initiative where people were putting in applications and asking for service. And then it kind of expanded from there. So within a couple of months, we started getting applications all over the country. But our primary focus is here in Atlanta. And we provide the cover-ups for women that are coming out of commercial sexual exploitation and removals for them, as well as former gang tattoos, people that have self-harm scars, and those that are in addiction recovery that are left from scars from drug addiction.
Wow. Faith, we haven't done an Unholy tour for a while because we just can't get people on the bus. But Jessica's been on our bus, Casey McClure, so many other people who have firsthand knowledge about this stuff. When do you think we can do another Unholy tour, Faith?
I think it's going to depend on the numbers and vaccination rates. And, we'll probably have to do some distancing. Fortunately, Samson Trailways, who will be joining us in a few weeks, they are back running their buses. So that's wonderful. They're the ones who have donated the buses for us for every Unholy tour, which is fantastic. And so probably we'll have to do some sort of social distancing on the bus, and maybe we can figure out a streaming format, something like this, so that we could stream the Unholy tour to those who can attend in person. Yeah. But looking forward to getting back to that.
Jessica, have you seen the Comfort Women statue at the Brookhaven Park?
I have not seen that.
I do a lot of presentations, on human trafficking, as you do, and that statue really represents a time when human trafficking was institutionalized. And we don't really have time to go into a lot of details about it today. But if you want to know more, folks can just Google Comfort Women, and you can see what I'm talking about. But Brookhaven, really, just the gateway to where so many Koreans live. Brookhaven and their city council took the leadership to give this $50,000 sculpture a place to rest. And I was just honored to be a part of helping to get it placed. And it's worth your study on this. I mean, Jessica, you are having a chance to talk firsthand with the women that are coming out of human trafficking, not to mention your own experience, but it's a pretty dark underworld that's ruining the lives and sometimes killing women, right? I mean, it's a horrible place.
Yes, absolutely. I know that when we go through the cover-ups and the removals with survivors that we have the honor of working with, seeing them go into the shop with one look and then coming out with another, it's almost like a spark and a light lights up in their eyes, and it's absolutely gorgeous to see that transformation. And so to be able to see that glimpse of hope, and to see them continue to thrive, and not just be put in a small box of a poor victim, but actually go and become this incredible overcomer that shares their own stories and then comes back to the community to help others. It's absolutely gorgeous. From start to finish, it's such a beautiful process.
Well, thank you for being on with us again today, for your great work. And how can folks find out about your organization?
AtlantaRedemptionInc.com. And we're also on all social media platforms.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much for being on today, and we'll look forward to catching up with you and getting you back on the Unholy Tour bus soon, I hope.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, see ya. Hey, Mary Beth, good to have you on Community Focus today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You know, I do a radio show every Saturday called Energy Matters, and we focus on not only helping people save money on their power bill, but how to use technology like geothermal, like the mayor talked about earlier, and to live a more sustainable life. And you have helped Brookhaven in the past with sustainability, and sustainability is a pretty wide road, isn't it? What are some of the things that you worked on with Brookhaven?
Well, I worked at Brookhaven from 2016 up until the end of last year. And actually, before I talk about sustainability, I just want to mention, I don't know if a lot of people know on this conversation, but I actually lived in Korea for 4 years. So I was extremely proud of Brookhaven for putting that statue there, because the comfort women issue is so present even today. It affected a lot of families. So I'm glad that we're talking about that today. But the sustainability initiatives, we really got kicked off in 2019. We did a strategic framework that became a policy known as Sustainable Brookhaven. And like Mayor Ernst had talked about, the city was one of the first to have a police patrol, like an all-electric patrol vehicle, which was a Tesla purchased with confiscated assets. So creative ways of funding these sustainability initiatives. There's kind of a misconception of how much things cost. And so when you look at the overall lifespan of the vehicle, you can see how actually it's very cost effective. And so another one of the initiatives we did was put in charging stations, because Brookhaven was very proactive in this area and forward thinking, recognizing that EV is happening now. You know, the mayor said he's been driving an electric car for 8 years. We're going to see, for every car we see on the road, every electric car we see on the road today, we're going to see 17 by 2030. So cities are preparing for this, and that's what Brookhaven did. And what I'm doing with Strategy Blue is actually helping small to medium-sized cities strategize where to put in charging locations. I wanted to point out, we saw Blackburn Park in Brookhaven had the most usage, and the cool thing about that is there are a lot of local businesses within walking distance. So you see people park and charge their cars for about 90 minutes, maybe take a stroll through the park and have dinner at a restaurant. And so, you know, it's boosting the economic development in the area and the vibrancy and safety. You see all these people walking. So that was something that was really awesome that Brookhaven was doing and taking leadership on. They have a new public safety building that the mayor also mentioned with geothermal heating and cooling, which is a lot more efficient, doesn't use as much energy, doesn't use as much electricity, and it's a pretty large facility. I think it's like 33,000 square feet, right in the center off of Beaufort Highway in Briarwood.
Yeah, Mary Beth, there's very few buildings in Georgia that use geothermal cooling. Agnes Scott, in their revamped administration building, and Faith, we got to get Decatur on soon, and because we can feature Agnes Scott. They have done a system. When our former Secretary of State, Kathy Cox, was president at Young Harris College, she had geothermal cooling put into a lot of their buildings. And now you guys, and, you know, Mayor, I've got an idea. I took all the EMC presidents up to the Atlanta Motorsports Park, and we had a contest, and they knew this going in, that whoever won the race got the bragging rights, but everyone else that lost the race that day in the go-karts, this was a go-kart race, everybody else that lost had to buy an EV for their EMC. And this week I spoke at the Jefferson Rotary Club, and they showed me their new Tesla that Jackson EMC bought as a result of losing the race.
Yeah.
Mayor, we need to come up with something where maybe at GMA, Georgia Municipal Association, or something, maybe we invite them to Brookhaven for something, for some contest. And everybody who loses agrees to, all the mayors agree to get an EV. Because, Mayor, what you have learned you've learned about range anxiety. You've learned about charging. You have really become more of a sustainability expert by driving that car. And I believe, Mary Beth, that if mayors across Georgia experience what your mayor has experienced, that we would have just an enormous growth in EV chargers, because those mayors then would go, wait a second, we need a charger at our main park. We need one at our hospital, at our city hall, by the library. And I think we would see them put a lot of charging systems in. It's not that expensive to put a level 2 charger in. I don't know, Mary Beth, do you have any ideas for my contest?
Yeah, I would 100% agree. And, thank Mary Beth, who really led the initiative here in Brookhaven. I mean, we put these level 2 chargers in. We're giving away the electricity for free. And what was the total cost to the city? It was like $1,200 a year. I mean, it's in the end, it's peanuts. We just approved a few more just last Tuesday. We have 2 more going in. And so, and like I said, with Mary Beth and her help getting us to that finish line, I'll gladly have a challenge with anyone on anything. Especially with the EVs. And I'll tell you the story. This is the greatest story about the EV. We announced the EV. Guess what? The police were like, oh no, I don't want to drive it. And they had to go through, how many people did they have to go through, Mary Beth? I think it was like 5 people. Like, oh, it's this sergeant. No, I don't want it. I don't want it.
Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't want it. I wanted
exactly.
it.
So no one wanted it at first. And then one guy's like, okay, I'll raise my hand. And the first guy that was offered went to go pick up that car. And he got to go pick up the car. He got the car. He drove it down after it had all been outfitted. He pulls in, and they told me that it was arriving. And I was like, I had to be there. It was just before the photo shoot, right when it first gets there. They get there. He gets out of the car. You know what his first words was? I want this car. They're like, nope, you get a chance. And that 45-minute drive. And so my point is once you understand that people understand that the police themselves, the most respected people in all the community, for the most, almost always the case, when they can drive it, then people go, hold on. It's not about necessarily the police, but it's the bigger issue of, if the police can drive it, I can drive it. It doesn't have to be this big muscle car. And in fact, it's the fastest thing out there. And that guy has tailed more people and caught more people. We've had more arrests because of that EV. I'm dead serious. He gets awards all the time because he gets to it.
Wow. Mary Beth, I know Savannah is using Nissan Leafs for their parking enforcement now. Not all of them, but they've implemented that. Because think about cars that are sitting there idling, right? That with an EV, you have no tailpipe emissions. And so on a car that's just puttering around the city, really never leaving the city limits, it just makes sense. Tell me a little bit about this e-mobility consulting that you've done.
Well, it's exactly like you're saying. Mayors like Mayor Ernst is all about it, and you're recognizing all the advantages of EV. Savannah is doing a leasing model, so they can try out different EV options. And part of the consulting is identifying what are the different needs of the city. Do you need patrol vehicles? Do you need administrative vehicles? Obviously, both types do a lot of idling, which wastes a lot of gas. So cities are recognizing the advantages of switching. So the faster you switch, the faster you save money, and you need to get that charging infrastructure in place. So what we can do is go in quickly and find a way you can make an immediate impact with minimal investment, minimal risk exposure. Like I said, not a lot of cities have people with this area of expertise, but myself, like with Brookhaven and my colleagues at Strategy Blue, we have experience in doing this with different cities. So if you need, level 3 as destination chargers, if you need level 2 all around the city, where do you want to build economic development? Where do you want to draw people? How do you want to attract businesses and let them know that they're going to be able to do business in your city in the future because they have a bunch of electric fleet vehicles? These are the things that we identify and help with.
Well, I want to thank all of our guests for being on today. Mary Beth, how can folks reach you if maybe there are other cities that want to know about what Brookhaven's done? How can they reach you?
Well, our website is strategybluellc.com, and we're also on social media as well, LinkedIn.
Great. Well, Jessica, thank you for being on with us today, and thanks for your good work. Kathy, God bless you as you continue to serve others. And Mayor, man, I got to think of a way that we can get folks to Brookhaven, some mayors. We can put out a challenge and have a contest, and I think it could be really cool.
Oh, I think so, and I can tell you, I have some ideas already. I mean, so Mary Beth knows I'm an idea guy. So I know that grants go a long way to bringing people together to compete for grants. But we all win in the end.
That's right. Well, Faith, where are we going next week?
So next week we're going to Tucker, into DeKalb County, and then the week after that we'll be back down on the coast, your favorite place, going to the Golden Isles, and then the week after that we'll be in Statesboro. So all over the state in the next few weeks.
Well, you all, thanks for being on today, and you're welcome to share this with others as it will populate my Twitter feed at Tim Echols. And at the very top of my Twitter feed today is an op-ed that I have about the SK Innovations plant in Commerce, with the president coming to Atlanta tomorrow, where I'm urging him to veto that ITC policy and keep this plant in Georgia. We need it for electric cars. We need it for all of the massive employment that we'll have there. So catch that on my Twitter feed as well. You guys have a great day today, and we'll see you next time.
Bye now.